All right, let's just get right into it. What if I told you that the real secret to getting faster, to building your endurance, wasn't about pushing harder all the time? What if it was actually about slowing down? Yeah, I know, it sounds totally wrong, but this is the exact formula that the best athletes in the world are using. So, does this whole situation sound a little too familiar? You're out there, you're putting in the work, you feel wiped out after every single session, but when it comes time to perform, your times just aren't budging. You've hit that wall, that dreaded plateau, and you just can't seem to break through.
Well, there's a very good reason for that feeling, and it actually has a name. Coaches, athletes, scientists, they call it the gray zone. Or if you want to be a little more dramatic, the black hole of training. And honestly, it's where most well-intentioned training plans go to die.
So, what exactly is this gray zone? Well, you know that pace? It feels comfortably hard. You're definitely working, you're breathing pretty heavily, and you walk away thinking, yeah, that was a good workout. But here's the problem. That intensity is just too hard for your body to properly recover and build your aerobic system, but, and this is the kicker, it's not nearly hard enough to actually make you faster or more powerful. You're just piling on what coaches call junk fatigue.
So if that's the trap, how in the world do you get out of it? This is where things start to get really interesting. The answer is this huge paradox. And it's the secret that elite runners, cyclists, you name it, have been using for years. It's a simple rule that just flips everything we think we know about training right on its head. Author and coach Matt Fitzgerald just lays it out perfectly. The whole takeaway message, the big secret is that you have to slow down to get faster. That's it. That's the key that unlocks everything else. And here's the magic number, 80/20. This isn't just a random suggestion. This is a pattern, a ratio that researchers discovered by looking at how the absolute best athletes in the world train, year in and year out to win. The 80/20 rule is just beautifully simple. It means that a full 80%, 80 of your training time needs to be at a low, easy, conversational intensity, and only the last 20% is for the hard stuff, the high-intensity work. The crazy thing is, most of us amateurs have this totally backward. We spend more than half our time stuck in that useless gray zone. Okay, but why does this work? I mean, how can going slower make you faster? This isn't just some gimmick. It's all based on solid physiology. So let's get into the science of how building this massive foundation is what actually leads to real speed. And a lot of the credit for proving this goes to a guy named Dr. Seiler. He's an American scientist who is living in Norway, and he just started studying all these world-class athletes. And what he found was incredible. Across all different sports, running, skiing, rowing, this same 80/20 pattern kept showing up. His work finally put a number to what the world's best were already doing. Now, the key scientific line in the sand here is something called the ventilatory threshold. Look, all that means is it's the point where your breathing goes from controlled and comfortable to, whoa, I can't catch my breath. That's the border. Everything below that point builds your endurance. Everything above it is super stressful and takes a lot of time to recover from. The whole point of 80/20 is to spend most of your time below that line. And this is the best way to think about it. Imagine your fitness is a house. That 80% of easy training, that's you building a huge, deep, rock-solid foundation. You're literally building more blood vessels, making your body better at using oxygen, and teaching it to burn fat for fuel. The other 20%, the hard stuff, that's building the cool-looking house on top. But you can see, without a massive foundation, you just can't build a very big house. Okay, so the theory makes sense. But how do we actually do this? How does this fit into a real week? Let's get practical. The best part is you don't need some fancy lab or expensive gadgets to start applying this right away. Here it is. This is probably the single most powerful tool you have, the talk test. It's so simple. During your easy workouts, which remember is 80% of them, you have to be able to speak in full, complete sentences without gasping for air. If you can't do that, if you're huffing and puffing between words, you are going too fast. You're in the gray zone, period. You have to slow down. And this is what a week might look like. Say you run 4 times a week. Well, one of those runs is your quality day, your hard workout. The other 3, they need to be genuinely slow and easy. Running 5 times a week, same thing. 1 hard day, 4 easy days. The whole point is that this structure allows you to show up to your hard workout actually feeling fresh and ready to go hard. Now, this all sounds pretty simple on paper. But there is one giant trap that almost everyone falls into when they try this. And it has nothing to do with your physical ability and everything to do with what's going on in your head. Just look at the difference here. The typical amateur athlete lets their ego take over. Every run becomes a medium hard effort. You're constantly living in that gray zone, feeling tired but never really getting faster. The elite athlete, on the other hand, does the opposite. Their training is polarized. Their easy days are so easy, and their hard days are really hard. There's almost nothing in the middle. And that, right there, is the whole game. Real discipline in training isn't just about how tough you are in your hard days. It's about having the confidence, the courage to go almost embarrassingly slow on your easy days because you trust that it's the right thing to do. But if you can do that, if you can stick with it, the payoff is huge. You will finally break through those plateaus. You're going to lower your risk of injury and burnout. You might actually start to enjoy your training more. And best of all, you'll have fresh legs when it really counts, on those hard days. So, the next time you head out for a workout, I want you to ask yourself this one question. Are you patiently building a deep, strong foundation? Or are you just trying to build a roof with nothing underneath it? The choice is all yours.